I've seen almost every side of the industry, except the side we've been working 7 years to see.
All right, welcome back, boys. So this video is actually going to be slightly different from the normal ones because my entire audio file that was associated with the video itself got corrupted. So this is just going to be doing voiceovers. But like I said, I did a little bit of changing, actually a lot of changing. This is all based off of the list of power rankings done by CBS. So you might not just agree with it. I don't agree with all the spots they have here, but that's why the ratings will fluctuate, and I will edit it as more people declare, as we know other people have declared that I don't have on this list right now. When it gets time to the actual draft itself, I will redo all of the speeds and such based off their combine times, but this is how I have the whole thing set up for right now, and really I hope that this goes well and that you guys like my draft class. We had some upgrades. So Carl Joseph, he got an upgrade. This is one of the guys that might still stay with the team for the entire trial. There's a player named CJ Anderson who's on our squad. He's our halfback, technically on our team because this was started then, but now he is part of the Rams, as you guys would know. He had a really big breakout game tonight as I was recording this. He rushed for a lot of yards for them, so I'm thinking that I might actually trade with them just to get him on their team and maybe get something for us just because we know he actually did well on their team and not ours. I'll also edit his stats a little bit so it's more like how he actually played. But so today is a game against the Chargers. As we know, this team actually made the playoffs. In real life, they're going into the second round, and they will be playing tomorrow as I'm recording this. Maurice Hurst, PJ Hall, and Colton Miller are our guys. We are going to trade our defensive tackle. It's not one of these two guys that I just kind of highlighted there in the original recording. Those two guys are going to be our starting D tackles unless we get some guy that really hardcore slips to us later on. But in the draft, we are going to be trying to draft edge because we don't really have anybody that's decent on the edge. We have Maurice Hurst, however, he's our starting D tackle. He's quick, and now he's up to 80 overall, so he will stay on the team. We are going to keep with a 4-3, I have decided, just because of the two guys that we have right there, unless you guys really decide that we need to go differently. So at this point in time is when I went and did the upgrades for the rest of the guys that had some slight upgrades after our training. But as you see, our wide receiver core is also suffering. We're going to draft a wide receiver sometime in that first round probably. I'm really liking some of the guys that are there. I'm thinking maybe one of those Ole Miss guys we'll maybe draft. Potentially maybe we'll want a speed demon out of a guy like Marquise Brown, the cousin of Antonio Brown. But here right now, we're going to hop into this game. As you will see throughout this game, there will be some points where I just do some highlights of stuff that happened because we lost the audio file, and I don't really feel like going the in-between and redoing all that audio. I'm sorry about that. It was not my intention to have the corrupted audio. But yeah. All right, so right here, we see that Gordon is able to just go off against our defense a little bit every once in a while. In that the progress of this entire game, he kind of just demolished us because really all we have for stopping him is the occasional block or so by whatever this lockdown award is that we got, we do not deserve it, just saying. Who am I? All right, so basically, unless our D tackles actually get in and get pressure, they can push against us quite a bit because most of our defense is really trash. Really, the only person going into the season that they might have had was Khalil Mack, but they traded him away, as you all know. So, really, we can't really defend the run much. That's going to be something we're really going to work on. But throughout these games, you'll see that actually our defense is able to, once they get the ball and they catch it, we can tackle them. But really, we are allowing quite a few yards per run throughout each of these tries that they have. And so that's not beneficial for us, just because really we do not have the offense either to be able to counteract having the other teams doing amazing. As you can see in this spot right here, we got pressured back into the end after we kept them, but then we got a flag because they actually did a special thing called hitting our punter. We got really lucky here, but it honestly, our offense is still not good, so it probably wasn't going to turn out well. Um, but you'll see how it happens. Just so you guys are aware, since I am doing this recording afterwards, sometimes the screen I'm watching while it goes is glitching a little bit and it skips back and forth in different spots. So certain things might be said at the wrong time, but I'm not going to change it because it won't really matter in the long run, because you guys can you guys will put the pieces together. I think you guys are smart enough to do that. I'm pretty sure you guys know what you're doing. So the highlight of our team is supposed to be our offensive line because we have like two guys that are in the 80s of offensive line. Typically, teams don't even have one. But throughout this game, if I remember correctly, there was like 6 or 7 sacks against us, and I think that I was really thinking Joey Bosa might even like potentially get like the sack record for a single game. Um, we actually got a sack right there, as you saw, which was pretty nice, but that was by our one of our middle linebackers, and we need our rushing to be done by like our linemen. So really, we gotta get somebody that will be able to make an impact on our team, whether that be, well, we're going to have a high pick. So whether that be like a Pharrell, or if we wait till later on, or if we go really, if we have the first one, we could go with Nick Bosa. But at this point in the season, I'm realizing, well, he just kind of got an injury. So if we wanted to make this somewhat realistic, that could potentially have an outcome on how teams perceive him. And I guess we're going to have to see how he does at the combine. I'm actually going to wait to get to the point where I actually draft until after the point where I have gotten the all the statistics from the actual combine. So that way it seems even more like a real combine, and I'll have all those other players that you haven't heard of that that rise up after the draft, after the not the draft, the combine. You know what I'm talking about. But right here we were on 3rd and 19. I was really hoping this was going to work and we were gonna do well, but then he's still 0 for 5. You will see throughout this game that we were not successful in passing the ball at all. And so basically everything we had was just our defense, and then they did pretty good at tackling everybody. They didn't really allow too many like big games like they have in the past. But if you look like right there, that was a sack fumble, I believe, um, against them, and we got that. So that was really good. That was like the best play of the game that set us up. We only had to get like 8 yards in order to get a touchdown. So I was really determined. I think now coming up, you will see that I'm pretty sure this is where we got Richard runs this in for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's not. He's not quite there, but he got a 6-yard gain. That was like probably one of the better offensive gains we had throughout this entire episode that you'll see. But um, this is run in, I believe. Yeah. So right here, I scrambled out and I was like, I'm not trusting his passing today. His passing is way off. I ran it in because I knew he had the speed, and I trust Derek Carr to run the ball, but I don't trust him in this game to pass the ball. Part of that is because I know that the Chargers have some really good guys in their secondary. Um, Part of it is that he went 0 for 5 on passes when a lot of them were open passes that he should have been able to get to, because I wasn't even running on some of them and he just threw the ball like way away from where the person was. So right there, he tried to pass it really deep into the end zone. We actually were able to block it. So I guess we were doing somewhat decent, but then that play happened right there. And so that kind of like destroyed my whole thought on like we were doing decent with the secondary. Um, this team needs just about everything. I'm debating if I do a large overhaul or if I try and make this more realistic of a thing. I know for the first season, I'm going to try and make it realistic. Um, as I'm going through this episode, I'm thinking in my mind, am I going to trade away CJ Anderson? Because we don't want to. I think this is the last episode before like the trade deadline that we'll have, and so I'll have to make sure I get it in this week. Otherwise, it won't be counted for anything. We might try and get like a draft pick or something that's like a fifth rounder or something, just because I know that we need somebody else in the thing. And I want to stay, if nothing else, I'm going to just cut him. But if I can get something for him at this point in the time and get him on the roster of the Rams, that would be great in my mind. I know I got really lucky when I did this because so Jalen Richard, he actually dropped. They got rid of his. They they eliminated his quick development like the week after I started this. So now he has normal dev, but I'm gonna keep the quick dev just because it'll make it maybe I'll be able to keep him. But we've got some guys in the draft like Bryce Love. He's probably gonna drop to like the third round, so I put him like around there. We've got other guys. There's Harris might go in the first round, but I think he's probably gonna drop to the second round. Uh, Maybe we might be able to get somebody that's like really good, but there's not going to be anybody like a Saquon Barkley that we're going to be like, well, we need to get this guy. Like, but we're going to try and get the best position player possible. And it's going to be edge with our first pick. Our first pick is going to be an edge, and then we're going to see what we're going to do after that. I might try and figure out how to like live stream that, just because I know a lot of like the Madden YouTubers and such. They do that type of thing with their series. Um, so throughout this game, we weren't doing well. So I actually put in our like fourth string quarterback that I like pulled out of free agency. He was actually on somebody's like, so he had like 89 throw power and he was listed as a tight end, but in reality he had been like a quarterback at some point in college, and he was on he was on the practice squad of some team. So I just was like, well, I'll take him because I'd done stuff in the past where I took the guy who was Quentin Flowers. I had taken him in the past for like a rebuild I did myself. That was the Giants one. I put him in as the starting quarterback, and like traded away Eli. But so in that one, I had Quentin Flowers because he was the quarterback for USF. So I was Southern Florida. I decided to like use him as my quarterback. So I was going to try and do it here because Derek Carr had completed, I think, one pass at this point in the game. Um, right there, Zach Conk, he completed a pass. Really, I was still in the game at this point because it was only 7-14. But then, of course, right here, I had a really good play. And as you'll see, oh wait, really? That was a roughing. That was oh, it was this one. Okay, so this penalty happened as well. So now it's 7-14, and I'm at the 25. But as you'll see, I keep getting sacked by Joey Bosa. So I think right here, it looked like he was about to break for a big run. But thankfully, those guys got off their blocks. But then, like the next play, I got this user pick, and I was like, oh my gosh, am I actually going to win this game against the Chargers? Because that would not be realistic at all because the Raiders are trash. I don't even know how they won like 4 games this year. But and I'm a Raiders fan, so before anybody that actually like looks and comments in this thing, don't hate on me for saying that because we all kind of know they're not good this year. But right here, he just Melvin Gordon just keeps going off. I saw a video of him actually the other day, and he was like Ubering in somebody's car, and he basically like didn't say that he was a player there, but then he was like asking the guy how he felt. I think it was like some guy in Baltimore, and then it turned out the guy was from Texas, but he just like lived there now, and so he's like, oh yeah, the Ravens are definitely gonna win. There's no way that it's gonna happen differently. And then right there's John Gruden's face. He's so disappointed, but it's like, John, you traded away everybody. Like, come on, man. What are you expecting this game to go like? And actually, the sim, Zach did better than I did. So maybe I just start like simming the offense and every once in a while, and maybe they actually do plays. But as you see, Melvin Gordon went off for 9.1 yards per carry against us in this game. So that's not good. All the reception leaders are all Chargers, but then we had Jared Cook had 2 receptions. Carlos Henderson, he's our man. We are gonna hope that he gets like a quick dev or something potentially. I think he might have one, but as you see here, Marcus Gilchrist, we actually are trying to re-sign him, so we were gonna wait and not use his upgrade. But Colton Miller, he's a rookie. Markel Lee, he's our middle linebacker. I believe he's the one who got that sack earlier in the game. Colton Miller, he's not been doing too hot. But Markel Lee, he's not too old yet, so he might be young. I don't really remember. I just know that he's only a 72 overall, and he's only 1 year into the league, so he could potentially stay on as like a backup. Here you got Lemur, but I after this year he's probably never going to see the field because we're going to draft a middle linebacker in like the 2nd or 3rd round probably. And then John Feliciano, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. But right here, I had to decide like what I was thinking was the downfall. Really, in that game, our offense was terrible. Our defense almost got a touchdown, and our offense didn't. So really, we held the Chargers to 14 points. Well, I was still in the game on the defense, but then the offense only got 7 points because they had a give me touchdown of like 7 yards. So here is when I skipped to the next week. As you will see, I advanced. I kind of kept the video a little bit longer here just so I can make sure I get everything in that I want to say on the end of this video. But as we went in here, we re-signed Marcus Gilchrist, I believe. CJ Anderson, the reason that he was cut was because he was on a contract year anyways when they had just signed him and everything. So there was that. But Marcus Gilchrist has quick development. He's 7 years into the league, but he can at least be a backup if he doesn't stay our starting free safety, which he probably will have to for the next year. So that's it for me for the rest of this video. But Marcus Gilchrist, he got this upgrade here. Proud of him. He got 3 added to his zone coverage. Hopefully that'll help. Jalen Richard, we make sure we're gonna sign him. Leon Hall, he's old. I'm not bringing him in another year, just because he's gonna drop so much overall. So thanks. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure everybody knows more about me and that they keep watching my videos, please. Thank you.